Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and this is my review, my what I think, of Star Trek Discovery Episode 4, The Butcher Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry. And up until just a couple minutes ago, I had trouble kind of grasping what that particular title meant in terms of the context of the episode. But I figured it out. The Butcher in this particular case is Captain Lorca. The Lamb is, well, definitely Michael, or at least Ripper, who is the creature that was discovered at the end of the last episode. They've now given it a name. So this episode starts off with Michael getting a brand new synthesized Starfleet uniform, but without any rank. They made sure to tell you that too. It's all like, here's your new uniform, rank, no rank. And of course, she's entirely okay with that because she's still, well, I screwed up. I'm a mutineer, so I'm fine. And then she goes and, talks to Lorca, and Lorca basically says, hey, listen, I need you to help me weaponize the creature that we found on the USS Glenn and make sure that this thing can be used as a way to take out Klingons, because it was able to take down 12 Klingons, and they have no idea how. And this is where the security officer, whose name I forget from the last episode, and it ultimately doesn't matter, comes on board, helps out Michael, but is very much, approaching it from a militaristic standpoint. And that is the entire argument that Michael's trying to make against this particular approach. Is like, we don't know what this thing is yet. Let's study it. Let's figure it out before you go in there and start trying to lop off limbs, which is what she tries to do by sedating it first. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. She basically, goes in there. And this is where, there's been complaints over stupid actions from characters on the show. This was one of the only, eye-rolling moments I've had personally. But when she ordered the computer to open the tank or the containment unit and basically go in there to try to take out Ripper, Ripper just shreds her up. Right. Well, I mean, fitting that she donned him the name Ripper and he ripped her to pieces. So she's out. She's out. She's done. And you're just like, wow, okay. They already Tasha Yard her just a couple episodes in. All right. Well, to that point, though, one of the things I was reading about when it came to this particular series was how, and this is coming from the New York Comic Con, how most of the time Star Trek deals in procedural episodes. So every week they kind of reset back to zero. Sometimes there's a couple things that impact from episode to episode, but then you can almost watch them out of order and be okay, right? Well, this is a show that you can't do that. It's a story from start to end, 17 episodes, and that's what they're attempting to do. They want this to be a long arc, and they want there to be consequences that the characters have to live with. This was, I believe, the first real one of those outside of the opening 2 episodes that showcased the beginning of the Klingon Federation War from 6 months prior. So I found that to be very interesting. Now, at the same time, the USS Discovery has gotten a call to go head over to Corvan 2, where there's a mining colony there that essentially produces 50% of the material that the USS ships are built from, and that it's under attack from the Klingons. Well, the nearest ship away from Corvan is 84 hours, and that's not anywhere near close enough. So Starfleet commands the Discovery to basically use the spores and kind of warp jump to where this particular, where this colony is, this mining colony is. And Lorca is gung-ho to do it. Of course, he wants to stop the war. He wants to fight Klingons, but he also wants to put this technology to use. Now, this is where Stamets is basically whoa, we don't know what happened. The Glenn got totally screwed up. We don't know their technology. We don't know what they did. We don't know what happened. We're not ready for this yet. We're not ready for long jumps because we can't fully calculate everything because there's some technology that Glenn had. We don't know how to use it. So, anything could happen. And Lorca's like, do it. So, obeying the captain's orders and everything else, they end up, putting them over there. And they fly almost into a sun, essentially. They're very close. They're able to get out. And then they have only a few hours left to get over to Corvan. to save him. So they are very much trying to figure this out. And this is where Michael starts looking at Ripper as more of a docile creature that was merely defending itself on the USS Glenn versus being a predator, which is what Lorca believes that it is. And, you know, even though you know, it killed the security officer, that was still done in self-defense. And so Tilly brings Michael some of the spores, and she uses that as a way to kind of calm the creature down, calm Ripper down, because she noticed that when the Glenn had also started firing up its particular spore warp model, there was a direct reaction from this creature, like it was sensing it, like it was somehow connected to it. And she figures out that this particular creature can interact with the spores and almost act as kind of like a navigational tool. So they're able to get it into the machine. They energize it in there. They teleport it in there. Sorry. They get it into the machine. The machine automatically detects that it's there, Ripper's there, you know, connects to him. And then Ripper is able to basically have access through its stored memories, every bit of known recorded space, which is a little bit of an interesting thing. Why something that's essentially on Earth, a microscopic, you know, bug kind of in this particular context is now this macroscopic creature with the whole of the known universe mapped out in its mind. Would love some explanation as to where this thing came from, but we're only rolling, you know, a 49-minute long episode here, so they're gonna rush through it, right? So they're able at that point to get him in, and they test it. They get the Corvan, and they basically just kind of warp right in as Klingons are trying to bomb it. They take out a few ships. Ships start attacking them, and you know, then Lorca waits until they're at like 20% shields and lines everyone up for this kind of like, you know, hey, shoot from all angles. They warp out. The Klingons all destroy each other. You know, cuts to a shot of a little girl on her daddy's shoulders, you know, down there. Who saved us? And the dad's like, I don't know. I don't know. And it was like, you know, hey, it's a nice, sweet moment. They saved the day. And then that's really about it in terms of what's going on with the ship. But Michael was given, you know, Giorgio's basically last will and testament, right? And that was sent to her. And at first she doesn't want to open it. It's at the beginning of the episode. She's like, oh, you know, like she's ashamed of what she's done. You know, she feels guilt over her best friend being killed. Now the thing is though, the relationship she had with Giorgio, to me is either like, you know, friend / mentor, mother figure / mentor, best friend / mentor, or possible lover / mentor. Now that's a bit of an out there theory, and that's one that's not backed up by anything else. But the two had that kind of relationship where you could kind of see it, right? You could kind of see it. And at the end, of course, she opens it up, and inside, Giorgio basically says, "Hey, I look at you like my own daughter." So that confirms that relationship, and she gives her a telescope that's been in her family for hundreds of years, which is an interesting kind of take on the whole. You know, it's kind of a nice, you know, lead in for the whole discovery aspect. But I didn't want to like not talk about the Klingons. The Klingons played not like they had a bit of a storyline here. And it's one that's definitely going to play into later episodes, but I thought it was still interesting. So part of me was wondering, especially after the New York Comic-Con panel for Star Trek Discovery yesterday, because they had Michelle Yeoh come out in full Starfleet costume, whether or not she was going to be back. Like when she was stabbed by Tukovma, it didn't kill her. She's wounded. She's on the ship. She'll find a way to get out of there. That's what I was wondering. That's what a lot of people were wondering. That's not happening. She dead. They confirmed she was dead when the new dude in charge, whose name I forget, the albino Klingon, who is now leading everything, you know, the son of none, who Tukovma just kind of like saw a bit of himself in and was like, hey, you're our new torchbearer. You're now the anointed one of my death. They ate the captain. Yeah. No, like even the chick, like Lori, whatever her name is, you know, she she was like, I saw the smile on your face as you picked the skin off her skull or something. And it was like, okay. So they ate the captain. They're now low on food, but they still are talking about picking the flesh off the bones of Captain Giorgio. And they need to get a piece of equipment that's on the Shenzhou in order to get themselves out. And that's something that the albino Klingon didn't want to do, looking at it as being blasphemous, when the other girl is like, look, you're going to have to do these things. Okay, like, I come from a house, from 2 houses, essentially, and I want to build a bridge. That's kind of what I've done before, but so let me work for you behind the scenes. I can champion for you, I can protect you, I can guide you. And there's clearly like a connection there. So they're clearly going to become the new Klingon power couple, which is fine with me because I actually liked their dynamic. I thought it was really interesting to humanize the enemy here, or Klingonize the enemy, however you want to call it. I liked that because it was not just that they're one-dimensional kill creatures. It gives them actually a bit of a background. It gives them something there to hold on to, and a relationship that can build between them might bond the audience to them in a way where we know that they're the bad guys, but you can still have sympathy and maybe even empathy for a bad guy. And I think that gives them a much greater dimension of a character than just having them be something that is, you know, very kind of stereotypical cookie cutter. Because that was what the call guy did. The other guy, the other Klingon with like the red paint on his face. You guys saw him in the first episode, and he was coming in through one of those, like, you know, holograms and stuff. And he shows up, and he's just kind of like going, "Oh, I want to come here. I'm full of humility. I want to do things for you. I want to help out, give you food." And so when they're off getting I think the disruptor that they need, or whatever it's called, he basically comes down and bribes a mutiny of his own and takes over his ship because the ship has a cloaking technology. Now, this is technology they still haven't explained where it's come from yet. And I've seen that pop up in a number of complaints from people who are not happy about the Klingons having this cloaking technology so early. Clearly, T'Kuvma found cloaking technology, put it on his one ship, and then that's now going to go to the rest of the houses and be used. So then, you know, that's how it spread. So they're kind of like laying the groundwork for what we saw later. But at the end, the albino gets mutineered, and then he gets left to die on the Shenzhou's floating abandoned ship. To which case, the girl comes back and rescues him and says that, you know, she will take him to the matriarchs, who will teach him things he never thought possible, but he has to sacrifice everything in order for that to happen. And he agrees because he wants to unite the houses under the teachings of T'Kuvma, and definitely also get back his ship and kick Call's ass. And I get that. I totally get that. So at the end of it, you know, while I didn't feel the episode was as good as last week's, I actually felt last week's was actually pretty decent compared to the first two. The show is still growing on me. I'm still very interested to see what's going to happen next week. I know many people out there are not happy. They don't want to watch it, and that's totally cool. I would say that if you're having trouble getting into this, the best course of action would be, don't look at it like a Star Trek. Just look at it like it's, like it's a mirror world of Star Trek, which, by the way, was hinted at the NYCC panel yesterday. So something that, look at there, like, just distance your mind from it a little bit, and then maybe you might find yourself getting into it a bit more. I like it. My girlfriend likes it. We're definitely going to watch next week. That's totally cool with me. I don't know what's going to happen. I saw the preview for next week. I don't want to speculate too much, but it's going to be more of a Lorca episode, I think, to get to know more about him, and clearly get more of Saru and Michael. And here's the thing: Doug Jones as Saru gets some solid bits in every episode. So the more with him, especially dramatic acting, the better. But I do want to know your guys' thoughts. Do you think it was a better episode than last week? Do you think it was a worse episode? Do you think the show is absolute garbage and it should be just, Control-Alt-Deleted off of CBS All Access? Or do you think that it's got potential, that you like it, that you want to see where it's going? Or are you somewhere in between, or do you just not care at all? These are things I'm curious about. Go ahead and let me know in the comments. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been $3 Theater. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.